Yo, what's up, guys? This is Theo here. Welcome back to Learn HTML and CSS, Part 8. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we're going to go back into organizing HTML and CSS. We're now on classes, IDs, and divisions. So let's click here and let's fire it up and let's get started. So just to show you guys how many lessons this has, it has 12. Cool. So let's take a look at the code to the right. How does it differ from the previous HTML code you've written? Explore some of the code and try deleting or adding something random. What happens? So what's different here is that you'll notice a lot of these divisions, div tags. Basically, that's just a container or a wrapper that creates different sections within the HTML. And you also notice these properties with class as the key, and you have a value, and you use these in your CSS to refer to different elements within your page. Because say you have a lot of divs, right? If you don't have a class or an ID, it's going to get really tedious to sort of select that. Yeah, with CSS, you can do stuff like, add the child and grab the third one. But, depending on how big the structure of your project is, it's a lot easier to remember if you just have a class or an ID set. The difference between a class and an ID, real quick, is an ID is unique. It can only be used one time. Um, Whereas a class, you can give an element multiple classes, or multiple elements can have the same class. So cool. Let's go ahead and get started. So in index.html, add an ID to the div nested inside of the first div element. Okay, so right here. So we say ID. Okay, that's the key. It's going to be a string. And we're just going to set it equal to header text. Okay, so this whole area right here is going to have an ID of header text, everything inside of here. Don't focus on understanding the div yet. That's what they say, but really all it is it's a division. It's a wrapper. It's a section. Let's go ahead and run this. Cool. Next up, guys, in styles.css, add an ID selector for the ID of header text. So the great thing about an ID, too, is because this is cascading style sheets and there's rules, there's also precedence. So what I mean by that is there's certain specificity and certain weight that an ID versus a class versus just an element holds. An ID, aside from the important and the inline style, is the strongest precedence you can put. What that means is it will override any of your other styles. Cool. Let's go ahead and run this. Add an ID header text. Did you add the ID? Oh, we did. What is it saying now? Header text. Why is it doing that? I don't get it. Okay. Add an ID selector for the ID header text. What is that saying? Hold on. Let me run this again. And let me try and just. Oh, okay. Let's put it right here. Let's add that. We'll just say color red. I'll use IDs in the selectors. And ID selector for the ID header text. Why is it not working for me? Go ahead and reset this real quick. I'm not entirely sure why that's spazzing out. Just refresh this page so we can carry on. And let's try this one more time. So in here, for the ID of header text. So say header text. Cool. Let's go ahead and run that. Awesome. Next, in index.html, give the second div a class of partner. Okay. Let's just give this a class, and the key is going to be partner. Let's go ahead and run that. Awesome. That works. And next up, scroll through style.css and add a class selector for the class partner. Okay. So here, we're going to change this to partner. All those styles are going to be picked up. Let's run that. Awesome. Also, I'm going to sort of explain this. In a rule like this says we want the paragraph that has a class of breaking. Why would you want to do this? Couldn't you just say dot breaking or class breaking? Well, in case you have many different classes breaking, but you sort of want to get that specificity back. That's why. Awesome. So next, scroll down to the style.css. Take a look at the prop and partner rules. Okay, so looks like um, we have partner right here. The both share the same text align. Delete this property from both CSS rules. Okay, so there's partner. And we find prop. Alright, let's get rid of that. Now, next, create a CSS rule that uses two multiple class selectors at once. Okay, let's create a rule. Dot partner. Dot prop. And what do we want to do? We just want to set text align to center. We're going to go ahead and run that. Awesome, cool. So we sort of just encapsulated both rules. In this web page, no HTML elements need to have multiple classes. However, be aware that using multiple classes for an element is extremely common in web development. You're right. Keeping this exercise as a reference will come in handy later. Okay, cool. Next up, scroll down in index.html. You'll notice this bit of code sitting by itself. Alright, let's see, where is it? Image diamond. And close this bit of code with a div. Okay, so let's create our division. And let's close that off. And you can see how it sort of formatted it a little bit for us. Cool. Let's go ahead and run that. Nice. And now, give the div that you added the class of prop. Okay. Let's go back in here and give this a class of prop. Alright. Let's close that off. Right there. Cool. Notice that there are three divs. Let's organize these three divs into a larger containing div. Okay. So I'm going to create a div around these. Div with a class of value props. And this is going to be the division which holds these three divisions. There we go. Run that. Nice. Finally, let's contain the value props div into an even larger div. Close the entire value props div within a div that has a class of main. Okay. So again, you don't want to overuse the divs, but sort of find that right, that correct balance of how much is enough and how much is too much. So there we go. Cool. Let's run that. Nice. Take a look at the code in index.html. You're in a much better position now to understand the code and edit it. Note that the HTML code is organized neatly with div sections. Note also that the style sheet targets divs heavily in order to make styling more effective. So, we can read this, someone coming into your code, sort of understand it better rather than not having any classes. That's what they're trying to say. So what we've learned, this code is more readable when organized with divs. IDs label elements that are unique. Classes label elements that will share styling. Divs group elements together. HTML elements can be labeled with multiple classes, and divs are one of the most commonly used HTML elements. Understanding how they're used is a critical skill for web developers. Cool. So that's the end of that unit, guys. Next up will be understanding the box model. Learn about some of the most important techniques used to organize HTML code, and this will include padding, border, margin, and just like the width. So that sort of model, everything that goes together. What are all those different things? A lot of them are a little bit interchangeable, but we'll sort of learn the ins and outs of that. So if you enjoyed this lesson, guys, I hope you guys make sure to like, comment, and please subscribe and support the channel. It means a lot. So thanks for watching, and have a great day. Take care.